Hello, this is Paris Underground Radio. My name is Annette Deleu, and this is The Heart of You. Hello, and welcome to the 5th episode of The Heart of You. Today, I have Angie DeCanales, who I will be interviewing about mediumship. We are also going to talk a little bit about spiritual awakening. Angie also gives us a beautiful grounding meditation towards the end of the episode, so don't miss that. We will be talking about some misconceptions about mediumship, and we are also going to help those of you out there who actually can see and speak to spirits from the other side. Angie's going to help you understand what this gift means and how you can use it to help others. Hi, Angie. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, what an introduction. Thank you so much, Annette. I'm very happy to be here and to discuss further the theme of mediumship.
Wonderful. So can you tell us, what is mediumship really?
All right. So mediumship, it will be like, for me, breathing, basically. This is something, it's not a thing, actually. It's more like an ability or a talent, a perk you are born with, or you actually can develop as well when you train yourself. I would say this is originally part of your blueprint, of the blueprint of our souls. We have actually so many abilities that we think, apart from just seeing with our eyes or listening, all the five senses. The one that we call the sixth sense probably would be a description of this, linked to intuitions and linked to the third eye, linked to the pineal gland. But basically, what's important to say about mediumship is that this is not something like spooky or something that is out of the normal abilities that a human being have. It is actually something that it's a talent. They are abilities that we carry with us from the beginning of time, I would say. I mean, some of us are more or less clairvoyant, clairsentient. We can go back to this knowledge and these words. Basically, the way I am, actually, my mediumship works, I come from a lineage of medium and healer, so it's passed on the blood. I think this is an important fact as well, is to understand our work's energy. It works by the lineage, so the body, the physical, and it works also by consciousness. We have so many different flow of energy. I mean, you know the chakra already, but mediumship is a flow of energy that comes straight to you from the crown chakra, and it's almost as if you plug yourself, I would say, to different dimension, different consciousness. It's like you make yourself available to plug yourself and be a vessel. Actually, they asked me politely if I wanted to open myself to be a vessel, let this flow of beautiful energy, of these connections flow through me, channel it, so that I can, convey the message or guide people or help them sort out issues in their life, find their karmic lessons. But it's a long road before you completely incarnate.
It is, yeah.
This role of mediumship.
One thing that I love that you said is that every single person on this planet has some sort of sixth sense. They have some sort of special abilities, whether it's psychic abilities, intuition. It's a matter of whether or not you are tuned into the right frequency. What you are tuned into within this mediumship is something that you have been doing since you were a child. Yes, you can learn this ability as I have. I have not been doing any sort of mediumship like that because quite frankly, I was terrified of it. I didn't like ghosts. I didn't like any ghosty type movies. I didn't like any of that. I was terrified. And when I'm in the Akashic records, I am able to see people who have passed over or people from past lives, and I'm able to speak to them, but they don't speak through me as they do with you. And that's simply because that is something you are allowing them to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not something that people have to be worried that this is something that will just happen to you. You have to give your permission.
Yes, completely. The way it works, when the soul decides to incarnate, we actually choose before what kind of experience. And some of the souls, they've got missions that is a more collective mission. We are in an age where spirituality is like more and more present all over, because there is this field of energy changing all over us. This vibration is rising. So there is more and more people that have been activated into their gifts. And basically, when my soul decided to incarnate in this life as Angie DeCanales, my volunteer decision was to incarnate this mediumship. More precisely as well was to help the souls to transcend their own journey, understand their journey physically here in their soul mission here on earth, but also helping the souls pass different gates in the other dimension. So often you have people that will speak with disease, like I do. Mm-hmm. I don't really like to refer to them as disease, because we never really die.
Right.
We don't. It's just an experience. I see it as gates that you can take and that will lead you to different vibration level. So you have, there is no hell or there is no heaven. There's only different level of vibration and frequency, as everything actually works with energy, vibration, frequency, light. And so, yes, basically, when I decided to fully embody this mission of mediumship, it took me a while. I just incarnated in a very strong medium family of healers, medium, so many spooky story or weird story. Mm-hmm. But basically, it took me a while as well to understand what to do with these gifts, because when you are medium, you are super sensitive and you catch on every thought, every mood, every information that there is around, all around in the environment, but also in people. And sometimes you just don't know what to do with it anymore. I mean, I had a time where I was just hiding in my place because there was too many things happening. So I guess even if you're born like this, it's always good to actually go and find other people that have the same things happening to them, some symptoms, to be guided. And I think that's why it's so amazing that nowadays we have podcasts like yours, or a possibility to have, like more information or more open information about it, so that all the light worker or all the people that are developing these same abilities can actually join together and understand how we can help each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Because that would be my next question. Because so many people are awakening at this period in time, I'm sure there are a lot of listeners out there who may be experiencing some of these happenings, if you will. What advice would you give to them if, let's say, they've never seen spirits or felt spirits before, or had any sort of, if you would like to say, otherworldly experiences with other dimensions? All of a sudden, they're starting to have these experiences. I read an article not too long ago that said after the pandemic, there has been an incredible increase, especially here in the population of Paris, of people learning tarot cards, learning how to use divination tools, things like that. So this is definitely on the rise. And so my question to you is, what is your advice for somebody who is now starting to understand what mediumship is and understanding that is what they're feeling and what they're seeing, but they don't know what to do with it yet?
So basically, as you said, like there is more and more, we see the rise of this spiritual awakening all around. Like people start to self-reflect and try to understand the big question, which is, who am I? And who are we? And what does it mean to be humans? When we awake to these abilities, you go through kind of I would say kind of spiritual college, because you start to actually check all around you the information and see, like if you can understand it. My advice, because sometimes when things like this happen to you, because this happened to me as well, even though I was born like this, and my difficulty was to understand what we call the 3D, because the other world I would understand them very, like it was so obvious for me. But this 3D was my challenge. But for people awakening to this gift, there's a tendency to go to check your mental health, which is fine. But actually, I would tell them that everything is okay. Mm-hmm. Everything is fine. Really, like this is a beautiful opportunity to attune to yourself, to your inner world. And please, to reach out to other people that had the same experiences and reach out to masters or to teachers. There is so much content available. I mean, Annette, you are fantastic for that as well. So reach to Annette. Make yourself available to access this information. But really, don't fear it, because this is only your natural abilities to tap into your own higher self, your own emotional intelligence. Basically, mediumship is a very deep and high level of intuition, and everybody has a high level of intuition. And I would advise as well, to go into meditations, go into this self-development practice to actually get attuned and align with your body, and really, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's a beautiful gift, and it probably means that you're a light worker as well. And being a light worker doesn't mean that you have to save the world. Being a light worker is just as an invitation to self-reflect on yourself. And really, the more you heal yourself, the more you heal your wound, the more you help the collective. So it's a beautiful invitation, I would say, to first heal yourself, self-reflect, and understand how you can transcend your own journey.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I'm sure that's going to help a lot of the listeners out there who may be going through something similar in their spiritual gifts. We will be right back with The Heart of You after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to The Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio. One of the things I wanted to mention as well is sometimes when you receive these gifts, you can have physical symptoms. And this is something I went through with my spiritual awakening. So Angie was talking about you might want to seek help for your mental health during this process because you don't know what's happening. One of the things also is physically you can start having symptoms. And that's something we will talk about in later episodes, which are physical symptoms you can feel during your spiritual awakening. Now, personally, I went through some pretty severe physical symptoms. I started having panic attacks, which I had never had before. There are some other things that started happening. I ended up in the ER. They ran every test possible, and I was 100% fine. There was nothing wrong with me, and that's when I knew that this was part of my spiritual awakening. So I highly encourage, if there is something going on with your body, if there is something going on with your mental health, please do seek a professional. And if after you've seen the professional, they say everything is fine, then you kind of got your confirmation that yes, this is something that is happening to you that is spiritual. The next thing I wanted to discuss, so this was something that Angie and I just did before we started recording this podcast. Now, I have had the pleasure of knowing Angie now for, 6 months now, I think, something like that?
Yes.
Every time she comes to my house, there is some new adventure with some people who have crossed over or in a different dimension, and today was no different. Basically, somebody came through, and this was a roommate of mine from college, and she was basically stuck between dimensions. She didn't know that she had passed on. She didn't know what had happened to her. So between Angie and I, she grabbed my hands and she started channeling. And so do you want to talk a little bit about that experience?
Yes. Once you fully embrace what you are, basically you're coherent with yourself and this is your passion and you were meant to do that, even if it takes a while to understand that what you are meant for is actually talking to spirits. But now I'm fully, ravishing in it, and I just love it, and it just brings me so much love and compassion, not only for people that passed, but also for all people, beautiful souls that I meet every day in my practice when I receive them, because I'm a guide for the lost souls, I would say, the ones that are still stuck in between level. I also do the same guidance for the ones that are here. And basically, the beauty of it is that every time a spirit wants to connect, they would just touch me. I would say it's not really touch, but it's energetic touch. If someone was passing behind you, you know someone passed behind you, or you know if someone is standing behind you, you know they're here because you sense, like a presence. You sense the energetic field, even if you don't put it in this word, but you feel someone is here. So it's basically the same way. Some of them, they're just like, I can feel like a poke on my shoulder, like an energetic poke, and I would like, okay, and I will be talking like randomly to Annette or to my friend in a bar. I would be talking to my friends, and they would just say, hey, we want to speak to you. And so basically when they come like this, I would always say to the person I am talking with, okay, someone is here. And I would get a picture of this person, like a feeling. It's most like a feeling. It's almost as if I receive all the information, whereas it can be images, or it can be sounds, or it can be smells. But I always receive them in a kind of energetic way. It's almost as if like a beautiful sparkling photons, I would say, or particle would just fall into me. This is the way I feel it. And there's so much information passing by my body, and I just know. It's like an innate knowing, and you're connected, that the person is like a woman, and she's very young, and she's connected to Annette. Actually, she was connected to you. Mm-hmm. The way it happened, so I just take the hands of the person, so the connection is clicking when I take the hands of the person. It's another way of connecting physically, and it allows me to let the spirit just talk through me. And I feel it in terms of energy. And when I channel them, I really channel their consciousness, really, and their personality.
Right. You absolutely do. And it's amazing to me because a few weeks ago, I was with Angie and we were doing some meditations and some sessions together. And my aunt came through, and it was incredible. The tonality of her voice, the words that she used were 100% my aunt. And she could even hear her accent because my lineage of my father's family were from Baghdad. So she could hear the accent. She could hear all of that. It was such a beautiful experience, and I knew exactly that I was speaking to her.
Yeah, something I want to add is it's amazing how you really connect with. It's almost like the DNA, energetic DNA of the consciousness of the beautiful divine being that is there and that once had incarnated in a body here. It's always amazing because I feel so much of their emotions. And I guess that's why being a medium can be difficult to embody and incarnate when you are in this density or in this world that is the human experience, because you are bombarded, I would say, of so many information at once. There's so many information, there's so many emotions. You need to work a lot on yourself to be able to be balanced in your vibration, be strong in your vibration, and also I've done so much cleaning on your wounds and issues and traumas, so that, like when you channel or when you connect with someone or when you help someone in a therapy, you really need to be strong. Because I have achieved this, and I'm still on the ongoing process, of course, but because I am so strong now into my own vibration, coherence, energy, when I it's just recently actually, when I allowed them to go through me, and when I channel, it's always a beautiful emotions for the person that received the messages, but also for the consciousness that is on the other side, so that everybody gets the idea. But every time they come, they have messages. But the situation is that sometimes we have to help them because they get stuck. So don't be afraid of this terminology of getting stuck. It's just that sometimes we get so caught up into our life here, into this storytelling, into this hero journey that we have here going on. We get stuck into moment. We get stuck into emotions. I have periods that present themselves to me, like was Stacy well, you're from a roommate in college. She presented herself because we were talking like randomly with Annette, and when we talk, we can like chat for hours.
Yeah,
and we were actually talking about men, about relationship. And Stacy just spoke me, and she presented herself, and she really to hang out with us. She said, "Yeah, I would just love to talk boys with you. I want to hang out." And for her, like it was a moment in time. And I said to Annette, "Oh, Stacy is there." So we figure out it was Stacy. She wants to talk. She wants to hang out. And then Annette said, "Okay, let's do that." And so when we connected with her, she was so happy to be able to speak with someone. But then very quickly, she was saying things like, "Oh, do you know where is my dog? Or do you know where is my boyfriend? Or why isn't anyone responding to me? I don't understand. Like my mom is always crying. She's always sad." And all of a sudden, we just realized that she actually basically was stuck into a moment in her life before the accident, because she had a very impactful accident. She had a car crash accident.
Right.
That was a big energetic shock, I think. And when this happened, she must have just flew away from her body, but very quickly. And maybe she didn't realize what happened, as some of them, like it happened like that. So she just remained in a in-between world dimension that she created, which was this moment where she was around 20 and 1920, and she had a family and living in Michigan in the suburb. She used to have this boyfriend. So she was just, in this moment of time. When we realized that with Annette, and she really wanted to talk with Annette, so when we realized that, I said to Annette, would you like to try that and do it yourself and see if you can talk to her so that you can help transcend this journey and walk to the light.
Yeah, and it was such an incredible experience because at this point, Angie and I are still clasping hands. Stacy kept on sort of going in and out once I let her know that she had actually passed away from this lifetime, and that she was repeating something from the past. It was hard for her to hear, but Angie then opened up a gateway of light for her to see. And once she was able to see that, she started feeling more relaxed and less scared. And so then at that point, basically between Angie and I, we sort of guided her towards the light.
Yes. And what is beautiful is that when they start to understand that actually they passed away, something very amazing happened is that there's always someone that comes to support. For every time, like I've done that, maybe it's me asking for it as well, but there is always someone. I always see a gatekeeper. This gatekeeper has a hood, he always presents himself like that to me, but of course, because this is like maybe the most comfortable representation that I would have of him, and they use my imagination. Of course, they use everything that can help me to achieve session. And he presents himself to me as this very serious gatekeeper that has only one mission, is to make sure that the souls of the people passed, But someone else came, and I think that between you telling her, like, look, everything's going to be okay, you just passed away, don't be scared, and then the dad showing her in this scene to take her hand and helping her, it was a beautiful moment. And I could feel that the energy was different. And then, she basically got closure and peace by doing this. That's why it's actually so beautiful, because whether I do it with, or we do it medium, like this in this other dimension, helping soul to cross, or it is with people that I see in therapy that actually go through the same process. Basically, my job as a medium is always to make sure people go through gates and that shift consciousness in order for them to help them choose a better path for them, as everything is always in motions. We have the tendency to repeat patterns, and when I see people, it's always the same thing. I see the pattern so clearly. I see the pattern. I see what they are meant to do. I see it clicks. I see the limited beliefs. I see exactly what they need to work on at a karma level. by doing all these different rise of consciousness, it's helped them. And every time, every session, then I do this hypnosis and go into this journey inside themselves using past regression hypnosis or quantum healing hypnosis. But every time it's the same thing. They would go on their course and they come to me, they have this repeated patterns, they're close to different emotions or patterns or belief. And what I do basically helped, because I'm a medium, really thank you, Source Energy. Right. What I do with my team, beautiful, thank you, my team of guides, the different entities and different consciousness energy, I help support them into walking into the gates. And every time they walk through a gate of realizing self-realization or consciousness, they shift their path slowly and slowly and slowly until they get into different doors that will help them, understand who they are. But it's always about aligning the soul into their divine coherence, into their divine journey, and understand why they're here and why they are so triggered and why they are so challenged. So being this medium works in all dimensions, I would say. And it is actually always beautiful to see at the end of my session, really like in an instance, people shifting path. And I know because I hear it and I see it. And when I take them into a journey, it's almost like a shamanic trip, And
right.
they all say that, oh my God, what a trip. And they have their eyes almost, like in tears because they've been crying a lot. Yeah, people cry a lot.
Well, yeah.
But I think it's what we say in spiritual is like it's
purging.
It's purging.
Release, yeah.
Every time they come to see me, it's always the same thing. It's always the same story. So with Annette, we do the same thing in a different way, But every time people come to see us, there is always this beautiful purging. Like we help them purge, we help them connect with their divine self. And every time I do that, it's always I see in their eyes and they're like, I remember. There's always this face that, yes, I remember. And it all makes sense. And it's always the starting point, of something else. Then it's their own journey and they need to carry on with their own journey and transcending their lessons here and transmuting and healing. Yeah, I would say we just given a push to that,
yes,
to this spiritual awakening and work.
Right.
And then it is, for me, it's really about being able to self-heal and understand how you can find your sovereignty, you say in English, and your own divine power. It's really about that. I'm seeing the person 1, 2, 3 times, and after, if you want to see me because you like me, just come, because it's always a pleasure to talk to people. But really, it's about getting into this beautiful knowledge that you are a divine part of a source, and that you are powerful, so powerful, you can self-heal and you can transmute this journey and you can find your truth, basically, and be very happy about this journey here. We don't have to be measurable. Yeah. There is so much love and there is so much happiness when you walk your path as a divine source of energy, knowing your power, being aligned, being coherent with yourself.
100%. That is the most beautiful thing. Exactly.
I think I trans-channel you because I not wanted to talk, but I would just keep going.
Oh, no, I wanted you to keep going.
I think that is called trans-channeling, what I just did.
We will be right back with The Heart of You after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to The Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio. One of the things that I wanted to ask as well is in regards to feeling the emotions of the people that you're channeling or the people that you're allowing to move through you. I know a lot of people who are just getting started, they may not understand that the emotions they are feeling are not theirs.
Exactly.
And they start feeling some things that they don't understand why they're feeling sad or why they're feeling upset or angry or irritated even. When you tune into this sensitivity that we have when we are tapping into our gifts the way that we do, how do you tell the difference between what is actually your emotion and what is somebody else's?
That is actually a wonderful question, Annette. And I would just say that I don't let people get into me. I would just say there's consciousness.
Yeah, right.
Which is a slight difference.
Right.
Yes, because so that's the first thing. When we channel or when we connect in any ways, I channeled the moon the other day because I just wanted to try if I could channel the moon.
That's amazing.
And she had a lot of things to say, so basically, when you start to open your channels, you can basically really channel anything. You can talk to animals, you can talk to vegetables, you can talk to trees. I actually take trees in my arm. This is one of my favorite things, just to cuddle trees. And
I told you about the tree
Yes.
that I spoke to that is right near the Eiffel Tower, and it is now my favorite tree.
Is it?
It is.
That's amazing, because I was passing by the Eiffel Tower the other day, and I feel the urge to actually cuddle a tree. So maybe it's the same one.
It might be the same one. It actually has almost like a little throne built into the trunk. It is a huge tree, and you can literally sit in the trunk. It was one of those just situations where I was there for some other reason, and I happened to see the tree, and I just sat down in the trunk. And it started talking to me randomly. I had never spoken to a tree before. I'm like, okay, this is bonkers. Like, what is going on?
Yes, they do actually, and they're very funny. They have a great sense of humor.
Oh yeah, no. I said bonjour, monsieur, and she said no. Je suis a madame. I said, oh, okay.
See?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, hugging trees, they give you so much energy, so please do it. And also another thing that I do for grounding, it's earthing, so it's just walk barefoot. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you ask about how do you tell a difference about your emotion and other people's emotion when you start channeling and start being attuned to everything that is around. One of the best ways is to actually ground yourself. And when you're a medium, the issue that we are, it's an unsteady journey, so we go through many issues before we are very steady, but one of the many issues we have to overcome, of challenges, that beautiful challenges that we have to overcome, it is a very I would say very connected to the element of air. So we tend to always fly away into other dimensions and dive into other people's emotions. So we have a tendency to have these codependency issues.
Right.
So because we tune so much into other people's emotion that we don't really know, if it is your own or if it's other people's. So I would say one of the best way is to ground yourself, really do a meditation that grounds you using your red chakra. Red chakra is the grounding one because it's the chakra of the tribes. Basically, the three earth more grounding chakra are the red one, the orange one, and the yellow one, which are the root, the third, and the plexus. Solar plexus. Mm-hmm. So it's really a work of aligning them and grounding them, because usually the other one, they're like, woo, so fine, that like so wide open.
Right.
Attune yourself to this incarnation. Really enjoy being in a physical body into this incarnation. And it's really about the now moment. Everything you can do, watch, like the sky, watch the earth, observe everything is around in the here and now moment. So in order to align yourself. Another thing that I want to add about this getting other people's emotions, an exercise that I can give, and I found that is a tremendous, great exercise, is actually when you understand a little bit how it works energetically and how your body works energetically. You know that everything is informations in your body, and you have a great help, actually. So your heart hold, and this is scientific, but you can check the source if you want, or check the information, but our physical heart holds brain neurons. So it's not only the mental brain, where you have all this nervous system and the synapse and the connection that helps you process the thought or the imagination or the creation. Actually, your heart, your physical heart, whole brain cells too. This is incredible because it means that if you attune yourself between your heart brains and your cells brain, like mental brains, you can get into a mode where you actually know straight away if what you feel is yours, or if the emotions you feel is not yours, or it's an energetic imprint that have been just given to you by other people, or maybe by past incarnations or family line, because we get energetic prints in so many different ways. But really the exercise is to close your eyes, you just breathe in, you just breathe out. So you start connected with your inner self and your own breathing rhythm. And then you just pay attention to your heart, to your beautiful heart. And you just connect to your heart and you say to him, yes, I know you're here, my beautiful heart. I'm paying attention to you, the way you beat, and I thank you so much for keeping me alive, for helping me every day to be this amazing human being that I am and to learn every day. And I really want to be more attuned with my intuition, with my emotional intelligence, because every time I connect with you, I feel compassion, I feel love, and I know that every time I listen to you, this is exactly what makes me happy. So you go there and you talk to your heart like that, and then you allow this beautiful and energetic thread to rise up. You can imagine as a cord, maybe as a line, just rising from your heart to your third eye chakra, and then clicking into your coronal chakra. And so from the mental brain to the heart brain, you have this beautiful line that you can visualize, imagine, or feel. And then for a moment, you just stay there in this moment and you just breathe in and breathe out in order to fully connect with your brain. And there in this moment, you ask the question that you want to ask to yourself. And this is how you can connect to your higher self, to your intuitions, and you know, because everything that comes from the heart, you know it is your intuitions talking to you, you know it is yourself talking to you, and you know in a minute. It doesn't take like so many detours like the brain can usually do, you know, like when you doubt, when you over-criticize yourself, over-analyze yourself. No, here in this moment, you just have this instant intuition that the answer is the right answer. And basically the other thing, when you attune yourself to both your heart and your mental brain, you actually trigger physically in your brain the chemical substance that will help you soothe your body and help you actually align yourself, calm yourself, help your body to physically align and get you also all these healing properties. So it's actually beautiful to do this exercise, not only to calm yourself, but also to tap into the intuition, to understand what you're truly feeling, if you want to have an answer, or if it is your own emotion, or if it is somebody else's emotions.
Thank you for that amazing meditation, Angie. Thank you so much. We will be right back with The Heart of You after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to The Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio. I did also want to mention that if you have not listened to the previous few episodes of The Heart of You, I would highly recommend you go back to listen to episode 2 as well as 3, because I go into a lot of information about what grounding is and how to ground yourself if you don't know how. Also in episode 3, we talk about energy clearing as well as your chakras. So if you would like more information about that, please go to those episodes. Finally, I want to discuss how much control each person has in regards to their gifts. And this is something I didn't really know when I was going through my awakening. I didn't know that I personally had the power to tell whatever entity or spirit was around me to leave. And basically that I did not want them around. I didn't want them in my house, that sort of thing. Angie, would you like to talk about how you draw those boundaries when you are a medium?
That's very funny because it's actually drawing boundaries. And when you are this tendency to be codependent, it's also the same challenge to draw limit and boundaries. So you are challenged in the human experience 3D grid universe, and you are challenged in the spirit world universe dimension to actually really learn this lesson about drawing boundaries.
Yeah.
So yes, basically they don't resonate with time and space. They don't have time and space. When you are solely a consciousness, you don't seem to be able to assess what's happening, in the same way. And I know that because I did astral projection at a very early age. And when you actually get out of your physical body, when your etheric body gets out, the way you think is completely different. You don't have any fear or any concerns, like really basic humans concerns anymore. Well, depends again, like what emotions you are in when you leave your body. But usually the consciousness shifts completely. You have a lot of testimony of people that do near-death experience. And they all say the same thing. I mean, when you get out of this physical body and you go back to being only the etheric one, the etheric essence and consciousness that you are, they all witness and all report the same thing, that they don't have the same experience, way of thinking. Consciousness really shifts. So this is a proof that every time we get cut into the storytelling, it's really for the purpose of the experience of maybe it will help some of you get out of the drama and go back to these observer positions and go back to your inner self and think it this way, like shift your consciousness, shift your perspective so that you remember what you truly are, and you remember that this is all an experience, and you have actually full capacity to either get into anxiety, get into drama, or just face the challenge using all your resilience, emotional intelligence. Basically, the way you deal with spirit in that sense, you just tell them. It's the same way when you want to actually achieve something or shift something or manifest something or attract something as well. You use your intention, and really the intention set in grounded in your heart is really the most powerful magic ones that we all have, and really use it, whether it is to ask your guide to please be more gentle with the experiment, or whether it is to say to a spirit that comes to see you, hey, no, right now I'm just having fun with my friend, no, it's not really your time. Every time you want to draw boundaries, it always needs to be from a place of a heart, because we don't draw boundaries for the sake of being nasty or for the sake of not being emotionally available to people. Sometimes we're just busy, but it's really always about intentions. And this is another really huge and big secret. The more you use your intentions set and grounded in your heart, the more you are able to actually get the right message over to people or other consciousness. And I would say really my best advice to all of you, whether you're a medium person or you get into this the alter state of consciousness, or you want to try on to be more attuned, is you want to do healing job, with energy, because everyone can do it. Whatever you do and whatever you try with this gift, or whatever you do even in your journey in this life, it's always be careful of the words you use it, and always be ready to use your intention from a place of a heart. And every time you do something and you talk to someone, if the intention is set in your heart, you will always achieve tremendous result. So this is really about being coherent with your heart and use the amazing power of intentions.
That's absolutely true. Thank you for that. We'll have Angie back on another episode coming up. We will also talk about shadow work, which this will actually go really well with what Angie was just talking about, because it is about intention. And if you are drawing a boundary from fear, that is clearly the universe pointing you in the direction of something that you need to look at. If you are fearful of something, it's something that you want to possibly explore. And I'm sure you've all heard that expression, what you resist persists. So if you are constantly running away from the things that you fear, then that is what is going to continually come up in your life until you're able to clear it or face it or learn whatever lesson you are meant to learn from that situation. I want to thank Angie so much for coming here today and explaining to us and helping us understand a little bit more about mediumship and how it works. And we very much look forward to speaking with you on the next episode.
Thank you so much, Annette, for having me in your show. And I really look forward to our upcoming shows and talk more about shadow work and go in depth, maybe with more funny stories, because we have so much fun story to share with people. It's not always so dramatic and spooky. It's all at the same time, it can be beautiful and so funny. And I really love to see what we're doing here, even if it's light worker, and even if we help so many other, and it's very therapeutical as well, and guiding. It's always some fun, and this is how we work with Annette, with laughing a lot about our experience, about ourselves as well, what's happening, and just share this beautiful joy, because joy, it's the utmost expressions of your heart and compassions as well.
Absolutely. And thank you for that reminder as well, because during this journey, we can be so serious about everything. Yes. And this is something that you and I do all the time. We're constantly laughing at, all the things we experience and the things that happen. Yes. And I want to definitely remind all of you out there listening that you don't have to take yourself so seriously all the time on this journey. Remember to laugh, remember to play, and remember to enjoy this life, because that is why we're here.
Amen.
If you are interested in getting a session with Angie, if you are looking to contact loved ones who have passed on, or if you simply would like to try quantum hypnosis therapy, please contact Angie at angie.decanales@gmail.com. That is ANGIE.DECANALES@gmail.com. You can also find her on Facebook at Angie DeCanales, HYPNOSEREGRESSIVE. Angie is based here in Paris, but she is able to do any of her work remotely. She does sessions in French as well as English. Join us for next week's episode as we start our 2-part series on past lives and the Akashic Records. I look forward to speaking with you then. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to walking this journey with you and pointing the way on your spiritual journey. If you are interested in learning more about me and the sessions that I do, feel free to go to my website at infinitesoullove.com. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I post daily tarot card readings there at infinitesoulLove1111. If you are interested in listening to more podcasts like this one, don't forget to head to Paris Underground Radio at parisundergroundradio.com.